Ascension messages, questions and answers, lunar frequencies, Earth's blood, religions, banking, Stonehenge. Returning to the blood of Earth, to expand the awareness concept of the interconnectedness of the nodes of high frequency, and where higher frequencies into different dimensions, scalar waves, occur. These high-frequency points are often used as portals into the different density realities of our universe, similar to the pressure points within the human body, that link the delicate nervous system into a constructive or destructive resonance frequency, maintaining or debilitating the health of that being. Where the power sites or strong energy points intersect, positioned above these nodes on the surface of the Earth, are buildings or structures of high significance to the ones that are using these high-energy sites for furthering their agenda. These include the Cabbal's cathedrals and churches, military installations and headquarters, for many of the controlling regimes of all the dark shirts on the planet at these present times, such as the Pentagon, UN headquarters, World Health Organization, WHO, and the Hadron Particle Accelerator in CERN, etc. However, some of these powerful nodes contain structures such as the three Great Pyramids in Egypt, Stonehenge and Avebury in the UK, and many other stone circles scattered on the surface around Earth, plus many other structures. However, here these powerful nodes have been used for constructive frequency modulation. We have shared before that when the lunar matrix was installed 12,500 years ago, many souls in human form also became trapped with the regressive reptilians with the lower dissonant frequencies emitted. Many of these humans were of Lyrian descent and were present in the previous 5D Earth in Atlantis, and Lemurian survivors of the Great Flood. They also lost all of their technology and found themselves back in a Stone Age primitive existence trapped on Earth. However, they did retain the memory of who they are and set about creating frequency star maps of the cosmos, so that they could return to their former homes. Stonehenge was one of these observatories with a 360-degree visual aspect of the earthly heavens. Over hundreds of years they assembled star maps from the heavenly alignments that were observable, and through the high-energy portal of the Stonehenge structure, they managed to emit a dominant resonant frequency of their destination, remastering the technology that they had forgotten, and at the precise moment of infusion, they made their escape. Similarly in Egypt, the early Egyptians worked out that there were lunar frequencies from the moon, emitting powerful waves of electromagnetic dissonant frequencies onto the Earth, trapping them. Again, with very little technology as a result of the Great Flood, they remastered this knowledge with great innovation, and utilized the Great Pyramids as frequency generators, attempting to change the lunar program by removing the dissonant frequencies that were maintaining the 3D trap. They nearly succeeded. However, the regressive reptilians saw what they were doing and thwarted their plan. The early Egyptian pharaohs at that time were drawn into battle with the regressive reptilians, and were defeated and enslaved after suffering many casualties. Some deserted and were in exile wandering the deserted lands looking for their way home. After a passage of time, the reptilian slave race, the Israelites, was led by Moses out of Egypt across the Red Sea. You know these times as the Great Exodus that is depicted in the Bible. However, the Bible's version has many twists in this story. They eventually arrived at Mount Sinai, and this is where one of the greatest twists of events occurred that has shaped the last few thousand years. The Egyptians worshipped multiple gods and deities, and during Moses' ascent to the top of Mount Sinai, an agreement was made with the reptilians that were waiting for him in their deity disguise. Moses succumbed to their deception and made an agreement to stop the worshipping of the ever-changing gods and deities, and instead to adopt monotheism worship of one god, the reptilians themselves. They laid out the rules and conduct expected of this worship, including the story around the 10 Commandments. The regressive reptilians unleashed upon the world the three-horned monster over the next 2,000 years, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Already held in the lower frequency mass consciousness at these times were the Druid and Celtic worship, with some subtle changes to these spiritual beliefs and a few twists and turns. 3 new religions were easily constructed and installed into the minds of the masses, each variation begging you to believe that they were the only way to spiritual enlightenment, and in themselves the only truth. A masterful plan. It is still strong today. The next 3-headed monster the regressives through the Cabal unleashed onto humanity, was a new banking system that created money out of thin air, and at no cost that has pushed humanity into debt slavery, and is centered in London. The second horn of this monster was a global army under the control of the UN, whose headquarters was established in New York, USA. The third horn of this monster is the global control by mass media, and all three of this three-horned monster are under the full control of the Cabal, as is the other three-horned monsters, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Returning to the blood of Earth. At the intersection points of the flow of this blood are nodes. Within these nodes antimatter is created and held in suspension, as mentioned above. Antimatter is the dualistic frequency that is on the opposite side of the spectrum balancing matter. For the ease of this explanation we will call matter/positive and antimatter/negative. These two opposing charges can cancel each other out or create harmonics and dissonant frequencies. This is how the universe works. There are either constructive or destructive frequencies that can be manipulated as part of physical and non-physical manifestation. Collectively, the constructive and destructive frequencies hold a matrix of manifestation in a stable super-frequencies. The blood of Earth carries these frequencies throughout the planet via rivers of constantly flowing energy, giving it a unique matrix signature frequency of the Earth. This is woven together with the sum total of human mind frequency activity, and is called the morphogenic resonance of the planet. Destructive frequencies can be amplified at these nodes, as mentioned above. These nodes can be turned into electromagnetic frequency amplifiers. In other words, in specific areas of the planet come destructive frequency emission points or locations that are amplified and resonate with a frequency match of those that are within its effective frequency range. Fear and terror, heightened anxiety and biological damaging frequencies are radiated to all those above on the surface at these points or locations. Again, as mentioned above, we have spoken of non-terrestrial artificial intelligence. This artificial intelligence is a frequency match to these nodes as explained here. You will not be surprised when we share with you the location of some of these nodes: Yemen, Syria, Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, the Balkan, and Crimea regions. These areas and many more are under the control of the Red Queen, who is an autonomous artificial intelligence that has a self-realized intelligence and is programmed for total control and domination of all planets and moons that it encounters. These hotspot node areas now have an invading non-terrestrial modified hydrocarbon-based matrix of energy that is changing the unique terrestrial matrix. We are not sure exactly how this non-terrestrial artificial intelligence entered our dualist universe of contrast, however it has found its way here, and it has now found its way onto the Earth. During the many wars between the Galactic Federation and the regressive reptilians in this quadrant of our galaxy, there have been many planets and civilizations destroyed. At these times, interdimensional, density, and interstellar portals have been corrupted, and it is possibly that through these times of planetary disruption/turmoil, that the artificial intelligence has been a frequency match, enabling them to transit through these disturbed portals throughout our universe. As stated earlier, this artificial intelligence has been identified on this planet for approximately 1 million years, and proliferates when its host has civilizations with suitable electronic technology that aids its expansion. There is a further complication. There has been identified negative planetary blood from other planets now that has found its way into Earth's planetary blood system, that is further corrupting the frequency. The last identified times this occurred was during the destruction of Tamet 12,500 years ago.
Question. OMG, that is unbelievable. Why have I not heard of this before?
Answer. This is the deception that we speak of. The time has passed that you can bury your head in the sand and pretend that the changes that humanity is facing will somehow go away, or that there is nothing that you can do about it, and you would like to go back and live in the shadows of yourself, hiding from your fears and denying your expansion of consciousness through contrast and integration. For many, the response to what we are sharing will send the ego mind into disbelief and fear, even anger, as it evokes your non-integrated emotions of helplessness, hopelessness and powerlessness, and behind these feelings is the illusion of disconnection from the love of Source. The human race at these times has become addicted to the loss of love, and this is what your ego is trying to protect you from. We have clearly presented over and over again that as you embrace your fear, first you must recognize that fear exists internally, validate this internal fear, allow the emotions to surface by feeling this fear, followed by choosing again the new expression of who you are. We reinforce to you again that the power of your positive thoughts place you on a new timeline, the outcome of which is pre-written and is tailored as a frequency matched to your personal frequency. Knowledge is information, and being informed is an important part of this process, and as your awareness expands, you continue to raise your personal frequency. This has the domino effect, enabling you to process more information. This then further raises your frequency. Some have called this new era the era of light and information. The information contained within these messages is not to frighten you, but merely to inform you of the realities you have incarnated into. You have chosen this incarnation, we are merely shining a light on what you have come here to experience. We will never tire sharing this one truth: your thoughts create. Tawana, Tawa, adventure with joy, with all its multiple meanings.